I love abstraction. And a while ago, I made this web framework. But there were some pitfalls that I left unfixed. So today, I'm going to make a new web framework that's actually useful from the ground up. Well, sort of. My last framework was actually built as a wrapper on top of Flask, so I'm going to be doing the same thing today and building off some of the old code from my old framework. And so it's going to be in Python. I'm not polluting the world with another JavaScript framework. Since the framework is going to be a flavor of Flask, I'm going to name it Volumetric.
2 seconds later.
Head to PyPy and Volumetric. And of course something already exists. It's alright, I'll just name it like Volumetric Flask or something. Here's a list of features I want to target. I'll be hitting most of them throughout the video. Alright, so since projects in this web framework are going to look a lot like projects in my old web framework, especially in terms of file system structure, I'm going to copy over some of my old code and just clean it up so it provides a solid base for us. One of the things I wanted to incorporate into this framework was Python XML, basically JSX for Python. In my old framework, I coded a transpiler myself, but I recently found this library for XML and Python files, which I'll be using for this project. The basic structure of a volumetric project has this app folder, and inside it we have our static folder where we can serve static assets. We have the app.py, which is the main file, and we also have root, which is where our file system routes are. So here we can define routes. For example, this index.py serves slash, and this authenticated folder serves slash authenticated on the server. So it's almost as if it was slash would be served by index.py, and then this folder, so this index.py would serve authenticated. And the idea that I'm trying to add is I want you to be able to write Python XML inside of this index.py that gets served to the front end.
Five hours later.
Alright, so we finally got our server to run, and it shows up in Chrome. And if we go to the inspect menu, we can take a look at our sources. And under static, we've properly loaded both our assets, and you can see it in the head tag as well. So PYX parsing is working. Great. Next, I want to add some pre-built snippets or components in the framework that can be used to build our apps. So I'll start with this authentication component, which will basically take in an optional user, and if that user is not none, it'll render all the children, otherwise it won't render anything. And this will be useful for some authentication libraries. For example, if you're given a user that's an optional of a certain type, it could be none, or it could actually be loaded, and this snippet or this component will help render the page conditionally. I added some code on the server side as well to check if a user field exists in request.args, and if it does, it authenticates, and if it doesn't, it redirects us back to home. So we can see that in action right now. I also wanted to implement hot code reloading for file system routes in debug mode. And while Flask does support hot code reloading in debug mode by default, all of the file system route loading logic actually happened out of the scope of app.py. So whenever Flask restarted the app, it wasn't actually the volumetric command line tool restarting the app, it was just Flask. And so none of the file system routes got reloaded properly. And so to fix this, I just moved the file system route logic to be called from within the scope of app.py. think I got it to work, so let me just add this last line here. And then we'll start the server, head to Chrome. So right now the page is loaded, and if we click reload, let's go, it changes to the effect. And just like that, the first version of our framework is done. I've already published it using Poetry, so if I head over to PyPy, there it is. I'll put the links to the PyPy project page and the GitHub repository in the description. Not gonna lie, I'm super tired after doing this, so I'm not gonna do docs or VS Code extension today, but I'll make it eventually. In all honesty, I know this framework probably sucks, and I definitely overlooked some issues because I made it in one day. So feel free to add suggestions in the comments, and I'll keep improving it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.